Look who wants to be a hero. The three thugs stood up from their table and surrounded Aiden, leering at him as they tossed insults his way. Dipshit probably won't even be able to take one punch. I'm gonna enjoy this. They punched their fists into their palms, preparing to strike. The beefy man stepped forward, giving Ava a chance to slip away. Why don't you three take this guy outside and show him a good time? I've got some business to finish here. He snapped his fingers, and the three thugs suddenly grabbed Aiden by the shoulders, dragging him out into the alleyway. At least this way the fight won't get caught on camera, like the one at the Sapphire Club, Aiden thought to himself. When they reached the alleyway, the thugs tossed Aiden to the ground. One of the men snickered. So, any last words? Aiden pulled himself up from the ground, wiping dirt from his chin. Huh. You're the ones who are going to need last words. Without wasting another second, Aiden roundhouse kicked the thug in the chin, sending him flying into the air. He landed square on his back with a loud thud. The thug snapped his jaw back into place and began to pull himself up from the ground. You're going to pay for that. A second thug charged at Aiden, grabbing him by the waist and slamming him into the wall of the alley. Aiden felt his skull clatter against the wall. He started to see stars. The second thug reeled back his fist, but right as he threw his punch, Aiden dropped down to the ground. The second thug's fist cracked into the wall. The disturbing bone crunch was followed by a groan as the man clutched his broken knuckles and prepared to strike again with his other fist. But before he could attack, Aiden kicked out his leg and spun around, knocking him off balance. The thug landed in a puddle in the alley. Aiden chuckled. Thirsty? He stomped his heel on the back of the thug's head and pressed his face into the puddle. How about a drink then? The thug struggled for a moment, sputtering in the water, then fell unconscious. Before Aiden had time to react, the third thug threw some quick punches at him, landing a few of them in his stomach. Aiden grabbed the third thug's head with his hands and headbutted him hard. Aiden could hear the sound of bones cracking as he knocked the third thug unconscious. Only the first thug was still left standing. Aiden watched him reach into his pocket and pull out a knife. Think, Aiden, think, he told himself as the knife-wielding thug cautiously advanced toward him. He looked around and spotted a small switchblade in the second thug's back pocket. He ducked down, grabbed the knife, clicked it open, and threw it. The blade landed squarely in the thug's shoulder as he writhed in pain, falling to the ground. Aiden loomed over the three of them, a wry smile forming in the corner of his mouth. Suddenly, the beefy man from inside the bar who was harassing Ava approached, clapping his hands sarcastically. Looks like you got lucky, kid. Aiden raced up to him. You think you're slick? I should teach you a lesson for making passes at my wife. Tell me, who are you? The man stayed silent. Tell me, unless you want to end up in the hospital like your men. My name's Ron, the leader spat. I'm in charge here. Despite the man's tough words and hulking appearance, Aiden sensed that Ron was scared of him. Who do you work for? Do you work for Dominic Grayson? I work for the Tiger, Ron stammered. The Tiger? This guy works for me? He's gone completely rogue. Aiden fell silent for a moment. He turned his attention back to Ron. So, this Tiger guy thinks it's okay to go after women like that? To hit on another man's wife? Ron scowled. The Tiger's dead, and all Dominic Grayson cares about is taking out Maximilian Castor. We can do whatever we want, and Dominic won't even notice. We take our orders from no one now. Aiden reeled. So this is what's become of the Tiger Group in my father's absence? I have to do something. I can't have my men acting like renegades. There's always been honor among thieves in our organization. He released his grip on Ron. Get yourselves to a hospital. Send the bill to Cyrus Shaw's office. He'll take care of it. Ron shuddered. Wait, you know Cyrus? Aiden froze. Maybe I've said too much. He scrambled for an excuse. I'm also a member of the Tiger Group. Covert Ops. Rest assured, the Tiger has returned. Ron's eyes went wide. Really? The Tiger's back? Well then, I owe you an apology. We never attack our own kind. He extended his hand. Aiden shook it. Go. You'll learn more soon. Aiden gestured to the exit of the alley with his head. Ron nodded. I've got to win these guys' respect if I'm going to lead this group. Mercy is another weapon I can use. As Ron helped the other thugs back to their feet, Aiden headed back inside the bar to look for Ava. When he got inside, Aiden glanced around the bar, but couldn't spot Ava anywhere. Then he saw her. There she is. But, Pat, who's she leaving with? Ava was leaving the bar arm in arm with a man he didn't recognize. They walked out the door and hopped into a car waiting outside. It sped off before Aiden could reach them. There you are. What happened to you? Aiden felt a hand clap him on his shoulder. He whirled around to see Kiki. She teased him viciously. Thought you could order all these drinks and then just dine and dash? I told you I can pay. Aiden folded his arms over his chest. Suddenly, Kevin appeared. Yeah, right. On a delivery boy's salary? Fat chance. Why don't we just pick this one up? Aiden scowled. Without wasting a moment, he whipped out his credit card, slamming it down on the bar. Close it up. He winked at the attractive bartender. The bartender ran the card, and within seconds, the tab was paid. Kevin and Kiki stood in shock. The bartender slid the card back across the bar. Before Aiden could take it back, Kiki snatched the card off the counter. Where'd you get a card like this? I thought these were for, rich people. She blinked at Aiden, unsure of what to say. Aiden Gibson? She shook her head. Hang on, you were Aiden Callahan, and now you're Aiden Gibson? Aiden snatched the card back, slipping it into his wallet. Aiden Callahan was the name they gave me at the orphanage. But my real name is Gibson. That's all there is to it. Kevin smirked. So what, you just forgot your real last name? Suddenly, Eric, Aiden's coworker, also approached. Yeah, did that orphanage make you lose some brain cells? Aiden exhaled sharply. I was 5. If you'd been through what I had been through, you might have the same problem. Aiden's words made everyone fall silent, as if they suddenly felt guilty about their actions. As he tucked his wallet away in his pocket, Aiden couldn't help but wonder about Ava. I'm sorry, I have to go. You're welcome for dinner. Without saying another word, Aiden left the bar. Aiden raced back home to the Stone family mansion, pulling up to the curb. As he did, he noticed something strange. Is that? Yeah, that's the car I saw Ava leave in at the bar. Aiden parked the car, switching the engine off. He stepped out, heading to the front door of the mansion. As he did, he spotted some familiar faces in the front window. Inside the house, he saw Sandra, Robert, Ava, and the strange man all talking to one another. Sandra looked both furious and delighted at the same time. Wonder what's got her in such a mood, Aiden thought to himself. He let himself in through the front door. Sandra, Robert, and Ava were all in the den. The strange man's back was to Aiden. There you are. Suddenly, Sandra's shrill voice pierced the quiet. She brushed past the strange man, racing over to Aiden. How dare you show your face in this house? Have you no sense of decency? Aiden raised his hands defensively. Whoa, what's going on? Sandra crossed her arms. First it was the incident with the Sapphire Club, and now this? Sandra gestured to Ava. Ava was standing beside Robert. Tears were streaming down her face. My daughter, my only daughter, was harassed in a bar, and you just left? Sandra tapped her foot, impatiently waiting for an answer. Mrs. Stone, I didn't leave Ava. A group of thugs dragged me out. What's the difference? You left her completely on her own to fend for herself. Sandra sidled up to the strange man, wrapping her arms around him. It's just a good thing Craig was there to make up for your shortcomings. Aiden huffed. So this is the famous Craig. He sized him up. Craig was handsome, for sure, but clearly a total douchebag. Pleasure to meet you. Craig sneered at Aiden. Aiden ignored him, out-glaring at Sandra. Mrs. Stone, I took down those guys who were harassing Ava. I stood up for her. When I came back inside the bar, she was gone. Sandra exhaled sharply, yelling sarcastically. Well, it's too bad nobody caught this fight on video. At least then I might believe you. Aiden sighed. I made it a point not to get it on video because you were so upset the last time. Sandra scoffed. Huh, that's a convenient excuse. What can I do to prove it to you then, huh? Tell me and I'll do it, Aiden said firmly. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Then she smiled wickedly. Fortunately, we already have the perfect solution. She pulled Ava toward Craig, forcing them to link arms. Ava is now going to marry Craig instead of you. Ava's eyes went wide. Aiden could tell this was news to her, too. What? But Grandpa said I had to marry Aiden. Sandra scowled. Not if I have anything to say about it. You are going to marry Craig, and that's final. Will Ava really leave Aiden and marry Craig? How will Aiden reclaim the Tiger Group when his men are going rogue? And how far will Sandra go to erase Aiden from their lives, for good?
Wait, that's not the end. You've just had a free taste. Now get the full story on the Pocket FM app, link in description. Check out our next video and playlist, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.